I just want to tell you there's a couple of things here. We are here and able to enjoy this facility. The bishop has extended this to us, but I want to let you know just how the Holy Ghost works. This room normally would accommodate 300 people if you stretched it. We've been able to arrange it so there's over 412 people in it. So that's pretty neat accomplishment. Secondly, we put bottles of wine on your table. We realize some like white, some like red, and it's kind of hard to keep up with making that even distribution. So if you've run out and the next door neighbor has more than one, or maybe you can switch things out. Over and above that, if you'd like to, we have a bar to the left. We'd ask you to bring your glass over if you want another glass of wine or a beer or water. That's over there to the side. So anyways, it's right over there, as well as, water would be outside. We're about to start our program, and it's going to be a short program with a little entertainment to follow. And I think most people have at least gotten their food. And so I'm going to ask Michael Bragg to come up. Michael is with the foundation. He's also on the SI board as an executive officer. And I want Michael to say a few words to you. I have to apologize for kind of acting as an MC. John Liston, who is a very generous person with his time and effort, his wife is just arriving at the airport. So he had to leave to pick her up, and he said, "Will you fill in for me?" And I said, "Those are big shoes. I'll try to do the best I can." But anyways, I want to let you know John won't be with us for the balance of the evening, so I'm going to try to improvise as best I can. So we're going to make the program kind of short, and we have some acknowledgments to make, and I'm going to let Michael start that off.
Well, first, thank you, Bob, and thank you to Nashville. Hasn't this been a great convention so far? I just really appreciate the hospitality and the professionalism and the spirituality that we are seeing from the Nashville clubs, and I shouldn't be surprised, though, because it's so typical from SERRA. So thank you again, Bob, and thank you, Nashville. I've got some really good news for you. A couple pieces of really good news. First, I'm not going to say much. Second, I'm not going to ask you for money tonight. Third, we are going to have a speaker that you're going to very much enjoy in just a minute. I think fourth, I don't know if the screen's on, I can't see it from this direction or not, but if you do take a look at the screen, the banner clubs are listed. Okay, but if you've watched it, the banner clubs, and they're also in your book, and I do want to make a little bit of announcement for all the clubs that have met the different levels of giving and are going to receive an award. We didn't want to do that necessarily tonight and interfere with everything, so we're going to be doing that at the delegates meeting. So if you're in a club that's going to be, receiving an award, make sure you make it to the delegates meeting. And for those of you that don't know, just briefly, the SERRA International Foundation was founded in 1951 to assist SERRA International in fulfilling its objectives of fostering and promoting vocations in the Catholic Church. Since that time, the foundation has funded a wide range of programs, from formation to training of priests and consecrated religious. And that segues me to our special guest, who I would like to introduce, who many of us have probably already met. And I would like to have Sister Peter Marie come up here from the Nashville Dominicans. And we know what a great order they are, and Sister's going to talk about how Sarah and the foundation has been a help to her order. And come on up, sister. And the last thing I want to say while sister's walking up is thank you. Many of you in this room have contributed to the foundation, have helped us do the good work that you're seeing, that you saw in the pictures earlier and might see later. And I just want to thank everybody who has made a donation. So thank you very much. Sister.
Well, hello again. I met many of you, most of you, this morning at the vocation panel, which was a beautiful gift. And I just wanted to thank Bob, the chair of this convention, for inviting me just to share a few words with you and an opportunity to say thank you. Our Serrans here in Nashville are just wonderful. So I think I can speak for our entire community and say that they have been a tremendous gift to us, not this year, but for many, many years. And for those of you that I didn't get a chance to meet, my name is Sister Peter Marie, and I'm the vocation director for the Dominican Sisters of St. Cecilia. And our mother house is privileged to be right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So we've been here since 1860, and we're Dominicans, which means that we are sent to preach the truth for the salvation of souls to a world that desperately needs the truth, and that truth is a person. And so this is how we live out our mission. There's about 300 sisters in our community. And like I said, our mother house is here in Nashville, but we have missions all over the United States and all over the world. Our main apostolate is to teach in schools, to pass on the faith, from little ones all the way through college. And so that's all over the U.S. and in some of the places that you all call home. So the places we are abroad are in Sydney and Melbourne, Australia, Vancouver, Canada, Rome and Bracciano, Italy, Elgin, Scotland, Sittard in the Netherlands, and Limerick, Ireland. So pray for the good work the sisters are doing, both here at home and abroad. And for you all, you're here because you're committed to praying for and supporting vocations. And in our community, we are blessed to see every year women who have heard the Lord speak in the silence of their heart to come and follow him. And to follow him in a very radical way by being a consecrated religious, living the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, laying down their lives fully in service to others. And how did they hear that call and respond? I think it was first through receiving the faith, our Catholic faith, which was probably nurtured in their home, in their parishes, in their schools, in their youth groups, and by the witness of countless others who are living the faith. So they were able to hear and they were able to respond by first receiving the faith, and then through the support of prayers. Now, I said this earlier today, but I just don't think it can be said enough. The Lord hears our prayers. And in his good providence, he hears the pleas of his people, and he responds very generously. So every sister, every priest, right, could say, they could probably name some people that they know prayed for them, and then there's some unknowns that prayed for them. And I just had the opportunity actually to meet Jerry from Toledo, Ohio, who told me that he prayed for one of our sisters for 3 years, Sister John Vianney, and she has no idea that he prayed for her for all those years. So I can't wait to tell her that I met Jerry from Toledo who prayed for you, and you didn't even know, to support her vocation, and she's in final vows, and she's a beautiful, wonderful sister giving of herself. So the power of prayers. Pope Francis said this so beautifully, and to quote him, he said, "Behind and before every vocation to the priesthood or to the consecrated life, there is always the strong and intense prayer of someone, a grandmother, a grandfather, a mother, a father, a community. This is why Jesus said, 'Pray therefore the Lord of the harvest, that is, God the Father, to send out laborers into his harvest.' Vocations are born in prayer and from prayer, and only through prayer can they persevere and bear fruit." So I want to thank you most sincerely for your commitment to pray for priestly and religious vocations and for your support of those vocations. The Lord hears your prayers. So I just wanted to offer our thanks from our community by showing a little video that gives you an idea of our life, but also to introduce you to some of our sisters, and they'll speak for themselves to express their gratitude for the good work of the Serrans. So thank you. God bless you. Welcome to Nashville.
Alexandra, and I've been teaching in the diocese for 8 years now, and I can't help but notice how supportive the Nashville Serrans have been of vocations, both of the sisters, the religious, and the seminarians of the diocese. In fact, I remember in the novitiate, they would host a dinner for us each December while we were in for the sisters in formation, and they were always just so gracious and having a mass and then having a dinner and sitting at each table and talking with each of us, and just always receiving nothing but spiritual support and promise of prayers and encouragement in our vocations.
Serrans in my parish saw that I had a vocation before I saw I had a vocation. So it was after Mass once that someone from the SERRA Club came up to me and said, I feel like I'm supposed to tell you this, but there's this community of sisters in Nashville, Tennessee, and they're Dominican, and I think you should check them out.
Growing up at my parish, we would pray the Serran prayer for vocations after Mass, and this helped me to understand the importance of praying for vocations and also the importance of being open to having a vocation to the religious life. And I knew many of the SERRA members at my parish and was very close to some of them. And I'm so grateful for their prayers for me as I was discerning their religious life, and also that they continue to pray for me today as a sister.
I was affected by SERRA Club as soon as I learned about them. I was a high school teacher and I have been teaching for a few years, and a friend of my mom's asked me to serve for a SERRA Club banquet. And so I was serving the meal to about 100 guests at a church, and we heard a talk, and I was so amazed by the commitment of the SERRAs to promoting vocations. And at this time I thought that I was called to religious life, but was afraid and was kind of running from it. So it was very inspiring to see the boldness with which the SERRAs were asking God to send vocations.
I remember seeing a picture of the sisters making the prostration before their final vows, and sitting there and thinking, wow, if I do nothing else in life, I want to do that. This public and total death to self before God, this literal following of Christ.
Another thing that attracted me to our community is that we have our older sisters living with us at the Mother House, and that we have this example of the sisters who have lived the religious life for years and years, and that they've been faithful to it, and that they are still filled with so much joy from living the life.
One day, a friend asked me if I'd like to go to adoration at our parish, and I said sure, and it was a Saturday afternoon. Well, what I didn't know was it was the SERRA Club Holy Hour for vocations, and during that Eucharistic adoration, I felt the Lord calling me to come be His bride through a religious vocation. And so I was totally overwhelmed, and it was only afterwards when I was talking to the SERRAs that were there that I realized that this was the birthplace of a vocation.
When 2 years later I decided that I was going to enter the Nashville Dominicans, the SERRAs helped me significantly pay off my college debt, which was a large burden that I had before I was able to enter.
So the SERRAs, whenever I would go on a retreat, they'd pay for my registration fee, they'd pay for my gas money, and they'd even load me up with goodies like Scott Hahn CDs about the Mass and our Lord Jesus Christ.
I'm so grateful for their friendship and for their example of living a holy Christian life, and especially for their prayers and the apostolate of prayer that every SERRA member has.
Thank you to all the Dominican sisters. Thank you, Sister Peter Marie. And Sister Peter Marie, and the one thing I'd like to, if I could give you something to leave from Nashville, from this convention, I don't know whether you caught it, but when we talk about the Dominican sisters, it's joy. And I wish we could bottle that joy juice and give it to you all so that you can take it back and spread that word to all the people that really need listening to. So I think that would be terrific. The other thing I want to mention to you, and Sister is pinch hitting. She was pinch hitting for the Mother Superior. They have just changed Mother Superiors this week and last week. So when we invited the Mother Superior, the past Mother Superior now, she said, well, I can't do that right now because we're about to change. So sure enough, Sister jumps in and says, hey, I'll do it. And by the way, would you mind if we put together a little video for your enjoyment, because we really appreciate you. So our hats are off to them. We really appreciate that. They're great people. They keep us on the straight and narrow, which is always great. Well, I'm going to introduce in a moment, if he's right close by, a friend that we've made over the past year or so, Doug Blake. And Doug took upon himself this past year's seminary and education benefit. And normally we have this event every year at Holy Family, normally, in Brentwood. And because we were having the convention, the wisdom has it that, gee, we can't do two things and do them well. So he volunteered Our Lady of the Lake in Hendersonville, which was probably about a 45-minute drive from where most of the folks were used to going, and came up with the idea that, hey, I know what we'll do. We'll bus anyone that wants to come up there, and we'll take care of it. And so as a result of that, we filled their hall with about over 600 people. And this was a new challenge for them. We had raised $300,000, and I happened to be, when Bishop Chobe was in the hospital, I happened to go by. He asked to speak to 3 or 4 people and thank them for what they had done raising the $300,000 before this year. And so I had the good fortune to be among 3 or 4 people to go, and he was laying in his bed, and we walked in, the sister was feeding him, and everybody told us, well, we have 8 minutes to spend with the bishop, and nobody seemed to want to talk, and so being a loudmouth, I said, Bishop, I suppose you want to hear how we made out on the convention, and on the seminary and education benefit. And he said, Bob, I know. He said, I gave you that challenge, $225,000, I know it. Now I want the cardinal and all the bishops to put their hands over their ears, because at that point in time, it was the first time in my life, and I think the Holy Spirit moved me. I put my hand on his arm, which was in a cast, and I put it there and I said, no, Bishop. We raised $300,000. Well, smiles, of course, but anyways, so when that moved to Hendersonville, we said, gee, this is brand new challenge for them. Those folks aren't really used to all of this good stuff, and we just hoped and prayed that they would outdo us, because that's the way we are. We want people to always be better than we are. And so they took the challenge, and sure enough, they turned in $330,000 to Bishop Spalding. They are about to find a convenient time to present a big check for a little PR and to show the rest of the diocese what the SERRAs and the Knights of Columbus, which they had one of the largest orders in the state. And I would encourage us as SERRAs to work with the Knights of Columbus. They also have vocation directors, and I want to just kind of single out something to you. As I think I said, and the bishop said earlier, the challenge that Bishop Chobe had given to us, and his influence on bringing seminarians together and increasing the fold here. Well, the Knights of Columbus stepped up and they said, we would like you to have the back page cover of your program dedicated to the bishop. And I think if you look at that back page, it's really a piece of work, but it's just another testimonial to what everybody in this diocese thought about. So with that, I'm going to introduce my good friend, Chuck Blake, who's going to give you a little bit of what Nashville's all about. And so, take it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bob Rutland, Gerard Kilmeyer, Lloyd Crock, and all of the wonderful people in the SERRA International Club here in Nashville and Williamson County for having started such a wonderful event that we were able to just use a template for. so much of the credit of our success lies with these men, and I hand for the service of Williamson County and Nashville, please. So how do you like Nashville, folks? All right. I hope we've exceeded your expectations. They tell me you've now seen some sights. And how many of y'all been to Grand Ole Opry? Saw Grand Ole Opry? Oh, look at that, there you go. And the Country Music Hall of Fame. Oh, excellent. They told me that you guys, some of you went to the Mother Church of Country Music, the Ryman Auditorium, saw bluegrass at the front. That must have been a great show. Well, I'll tell you what, there are a lot of musicians in town around this place, and as Bob was telling you, I've come to be a good friend of SERRA's for the Knights of Columbus, and I'm also a singer-songwriter, as many, many people are in Middle Tennessee, and I really feel privileged to have been asked to perform for you tonight. And I'm going to play some of the country music songs that might be familiar to you over the years, a few of the older songs. I'm going to try to mix in a few of the newer country music songs and also include some of my own as I'm a songwriter. And I'd like to begin tonight with a song I wrote this year, a song called I Give You My Word. I give you my word. My word is life. My word is the way, the truth and the life. All that you've seen and all that you've heard, you need only believe. I give you my word. My word has the power to heal any wound in your darkest hour. Save you from doom if you're lost and alone. You need not be afraid, for my love on its own will show you the way. If you're old or still young, and you hunger and thirst, know that my will be done on heaven and earth, and I will provide for you when you serve in this bread and wine and my holy word. I give you my word. My word is the light. My word is the way, the truth and the life. All that you've seen and all that you've heard, you need only believe. I give you my word. I was nailed to a cross, gave my life for your sin, so that all be not lost. I rose again, conquering death for eternity. So when you lay down to rest, come live with me. I give you my word. My word brings you life. My word is the way, the truth and the life. all that you've seen and all that you've heard, you need only believe. I give you my word. All that you've seen and all that you've heard, you need only believe. I give you the lady in charge of desserts. That's first time. Thank you very much. This next song I'm going to play for you was written by a young mother up in Massachusetts. Her name is Lori McKenna. She's a mother of 5 young children. I understand she started writing this song as a poem, and each part of the song is for one of her children. This song went on to be recorded by Tim McGraw, and in 2016 was the Country Music Song of the Year in 4 different venues. It won the Grammy Award, the Country Music Awards, Country Music Television Awards, and American Music Awards, number 1 song of the year. It was number 1 song in America and in Canada at the same time. I'll just share the song. We got some people from Canada here. Where are the Canadians? Where are the Canadians? Hello, the Canadians. I was so close to Canada, I was almost a Canadian myself. I was born and raised in Vermont, so God bless you all. Quebec, I assume. What province? There you go, Ontario. Song called Humble and Kind. You know there's a line that goes by the front door. Don't forget the keys on the door. When childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind. Go to church because your mama says to. Visit grandpa every chance that you can. It won't be a waste of time. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please and say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you've been dreaming come to you, and the work you put in realize, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Now don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip. Here's one. Bitterness will keep you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Know the difference between sleeping with someone and sleeping with someone you love. I love you ain't no pickup line. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please and say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you've got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you've been dreaming come to you, and the work you put in recognize, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Now if it's hot, eat a root beer popsicle. Turn off the AC, roll the windows down. Let that summer sun shine. Always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted the love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget to turn back around. Help the stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please and say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, don't lie. I know you've got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you've been dreaming come to you, and the work you put in recognize, let yourself feel pride, but always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget to turn back around. Help the next one in line. Always stay humble and kind. How many of you folks out here have made a casino? How many casinos? De Colores. De Colores. There you go. Dove Lake Casino 85, table of St. Peter's. There you go. I'll tell you what, when I made my casino, I was right where I needed to be, exactly when I needed to be there. I think that's the way the Holy Spirit moves. At this particular time, Pope John Paul had just declared the year of the Holy Eucharist, and we were right in the middle of the liturgical calendar addressing the bread of life when I came out of Cursillo, and I was given the gift of this song. This is a song that I wrote at that time about the Holy Eucharist. This song is called Piece of Bread. Piece of bread, taste the wine, body, blood, soul divine, fruit of the vine, bring of the field. He only says the word, your soul is healed. Feel the love in your heart, see the light in the dark. He takes away our sins and He forgives. He gave away His life that we may live. Sing praise and glory to the one and only God. Thank the Lord from whom all blessings flow. Through mercy and grace, thy peace He gave to thee. And know and love Him, we live eternally. Piece of bread, taste the wine, feed the soul, ease the mind. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And He so loved the world, He gave His Son. Sing praise and glory to thank the Lord from whom all blessings flow. Through mercy and grace, thy peace He gave to me. To know and love Him, we live eternally. Piece of bread, should be able to tell a story while I'm doing this. But it's hard for me to talk and listen at the same time. And if you don't believe that, ask my wife, Marilyn, she'll tell you that. I can't listen. That's close enough for me, I think. This next song I want to do for you is one that was a country music song hit back in the 70s by a really fine country music entertainer. Many of you might remember Don Williams. They called him the Gentle Giant. He did a whole lot of wholesome country music, and I'm going to do a song for you, one of my favorites, Don Williams. There you go, Don Williams, fan favorite. Song called I Believe in You. Don't believe in superstars, organic food and foreign cars. Don't believe the plastic gold, certainty of the unknown. They're right and left and wrong. That north and south can't get along. That east is west is west. And being first is always best. But I believe in love. I believe in baby. I believe in mom and dad. And I believe in you. I don't believe that heaven waits for only those who congregate. I like to think of God as love. He's down below, he's up above. He's watching people everywhere. He knows who does and doesn't care. And I'm an ordinary man. Sometimes I wonder who I am, but I believe in love. I believe in you. I believe in magic. And I believe in you. I know with all my certainty what's going on with you and me. It's a good thing. It's true. I believe in you. Don't believe virginity as common as it used to be. Working days and sleeping nights, black and white and white. And Superman and Robin Hood are still alive in Hollywood. That gasoline and short supply, rising costs of getting by. But I believe in love. I believe in old. I believe in children. And I believe in you. Well, I believe in love. I believe in baby. I believe in mom and dad. And I believe in you. I believe in mom and dad. And I believe in you. My goodness, what's not to like about Don Williams? Love his music. This next song was released just this last year, in 2018. It's written by Luke Bryan. It's recorded by Luke Bryan, written by David Frazier, Ed Hale, and Josh Peter. And this is one of those songs, as soon as I heard this song, it's a song where I thought, man, I wish I had written that. And they come along every once in a while. This song, I'm sure, has a lot of good messages, and I hope you understand this. It says most people are good. believe kids ought to stay kids as long as they can. Turn on the screen, go climb a tree, get dirt on their hands. I believe we've got to forgive and make amends. Nobody gets a second chance to make new old friends. I believe in working hard for what you got, even if it don't amount to a heck of a lot. I believe most people are good, most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights look better underneath on the stadium lights. I believe you love who you love, ain't nothing you should ever be ashamed of. I believe this world ain't half as bad as it looks. I believe most people are good. Well, I believe that streets of gold are worth the work. I still want to go even if they were paved in dirt. And I believe that youth is spent well on the young. Wisdom in your teens will be a lot less fun. I believe if you just go by the nightly news, your faith in all mankind would be the first thing you lose. I believe most people are good, most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights look better underneath on the stadium lights. I believe you love who you love, ain't nothing you should ever be ashamed of. I believe this world ain't half as bad as it looks. I believe most people are good. I believe that days go slow and years go fast. Every breath's a gift, the first one to life. I believe most people are good, most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights are better underneath on the stadium lights. I believe you love who you love, ain't nothing you should ever be ashamed of. And I believe this world ain't half as bad as it looks. I believe most people are good. I believe most people are good. I believe that days go slow and years go fast, and every breath's a gift, the first one to life. I believe most people are good, most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. And I believe most Friday nights look better underneath on the stadium lights. I believe you love who you love, ain't nothing you should ever be ashamed of. And I believe this world ain't half as bad as it looks. I believe most people are good. I believe most people are good. I believe most people are good. Ain't that the truth? Okay, this next song I'm going to do for you, a change of equipment here. This is a song that I wrote recently, and it's got kind of a neat story to it. I want to tell you how this song came about. Actually, this song was inspired by Bishop Spalding. I don't know if he's here or not. He's still here? Bishop, have you left? Thank goodness, I'm off the hook. I'm off the hook. At Bishop Spalding's ordination, I know many of you were there, he gave a beautiful closing remarks. They were so greatly crafted that as a songwriter, heard them as a song immediately. And he hadn't been in town long enough to realize that in Nashville, if anyone has a good idea, somebody's going to steal it. Which I did. I hope you forgive me for this. I had the privilege of having our children's choir at church learn this song, and on Mother's Day, they performed performed this. We had a 35-piece children's choir sang this song for the parishioners. It just happened to coincide with the first visit of our bishop came to celebrate Mass with us that week, and I think he was hearing an echo in the room when he heard the children singing this song. This is a song that I wrote, so if you can imagine, don't listen to me sing this, but imagine, if you will, 35 beautiful children singing this song, and it has a lot to it. The song is called The Love of Jesus in My Heart. If I could hold in my arms what I hold in my heart, I would never let go, lest my world fall apart. For I have received the blessing of peace. I receive the love of Jesus. I feel the love of Jesus, and I hold the love of Jesus in my heart. Lord, open my eyes, open my ears, open my heart to feel you near. When I reach out my hand to help someone, I find the love of Jesus, and I share the love of Jesus, and I feel the love of Jesus in my heart. If God is love and He loves me, and I am loved for eternity. No matter where I go, I know where to stop with the love of Jesus, the love of Jesus, with the love of Jesus in my heart. Lord, open my eyes, open my ears, open my heart to feel you near. When I reach out my hand to help someone, I find the love of Jesus, and I share the love of Jesus, and I hold the love of Jesus in my heart. If God is love and He loves me, then I am loved for eternity. No matter where I go, I know where to stop with the love of Jesus, the love of Jesus, with the love of Jesus in my heart. I found the love of Jesus, I share the love of Jesus, and I hold the love of Jesus in my heart. I feel the love of Jesus in my heart. Thank you so much. Some of the country music entertainers are legendary. If you count the most influential people in country music on one hand, this man certainly would be among them. Many of my favorite songs are his, and he is my favorite artist. A song by Willie Nelson, Always on My Mind. left your sweet love that night, and give me one more chance to keep you satisfied, keep you satisfied. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. But you were always on my mind. 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 Thank you very much. God bless you.
Stand up and give them a little hand of applause. You guys are getting a little of the Ryman here in Nashville, right in front of your eyes. An original artist and a great Catholic, an example to all of us. If you could just sit down for a couple more minutes, I'm going to make a couple of quick announcements. I want to remind everybody that the U.S. District Governor's breakfast is tomorrow at 7 a.m. So the district governors should be up and ready at 7. Also remember that we're going live with the Rosary at 8 o'clock. And are the 4 office staff from Chicago here with us? Are the 4 gals from Chicago here? Could they please come up? Come on up here. We want to recognize you. You do a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and we really would like to give you some little memento. You can come on up to the stage, the 4 of you. Is it 4 or 5? 4? 4. Okay. Just the regular staff would be great. Okay, if the regular staff, if you all could come up, that would be great. I know we have a sister here, but we just prepared for 4. The 4 of you all come up. We realize these folks get up at 6 in the morning to make sure that everything is done right. They're behind the scenes, they're working late at night, they're taking the time to help those folks that forgot to take the tickets from their hotel room to go to the Ryman or to go to the Grand Ole Opry. They're moving folks around, they're doing all kinds of stuff. So, that being said, they can't get out to shop. So, after Doug, with all his wonderful playing, we just wanted to give them, and they can pass this among themselves. I didn't pick anything out in particular, but as a memento from Nashville, we would like to give them a framed, original lyric song written by some of Nashville's greatest writers. So I'm going to pass that to them. Stay right there, and I can't tell you how regretful it is that John Liston is not with us right now. But knowing his staff, I know that they will present the next gift to him. And on behalf of the Williamson County SERRA Club and the Nashville SERRA Club, we would like to have them present to John, on our behalf, a memento so that they will always know, recognize, and realize what Nashville is all about. So what other way could we do that but with such a little musical touch? So if you just bear with me a second. This is a guitar. There's a couple of people that signed it. I hoped you might recognize the name. Vince Gill and Amy Grant, his wife, signed this guitar, and we would like to present this to John, and we hope the staff won't spend too much time playing or learning guitar lessons, but we want to thank them all for all that they do and have always done for all of us. So they are the behind-the-scenes folks that they are the heart of SERRA International. So I want to thank them for all that they do. I think that's going to do it